Good morning. Whoever you are, whomever you love, you are welcome here. However you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with others, you have a place here. Whether you are young or old, you are welcome here. You who are online, we welcome you today. We greet all those who join us this morning, those in our sanctuary, and all of our many online viewers, así como el creciente número de participantes bilingües que nos acompañan desde sus hogares. Today is a special multi-generational service, which means our children will be staying with us for the whole time. We are happy to have all of us here together. Welcome, one and all.
And now I invite you to open your gray hymnals to number 347, Gather the Spirit. Please rise in body or in spirit as we sing together. Today, we celebrate Earth Day. Like so many days we deem significant, Earth Day holds both joy and sorrow. Earth Day was first celebrated 53 years ago, back in 1970, as a day to honor the Earth and our natural environment. Since then, much has changed, but then again, there is much that hasn't changed. Despite our environmental growing awareness of climate change and the negative effects our industrial society has on our planet, we continue to march ahead, in many ways, with business as usual. But although recent reports indicate a potentially bleak future for humanity, despair is not the only option. We still have choices. We can choose to see one another as allies and siblings rather than bickering adversaries. We can choose to see ourselves as citizens of the earth rather than consumers. We can choose to be grateful to our Mother Earth rather than entitled to her gifts. May it be so.
We light our chalice this morning in honor of our Mother Earth. She gives us many gifts, including storing energy and providing us this flame.
Celebremos compartiendo nuestras vidas, encendiendo esta luz.
Seattle reminds us, all things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth, befalls the children of the earth.
All things share the same breath, the beast, the tree, the man. The air shares its spirit with all the life it supports.
We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. This we know.
All things are connected. All living creatures share the same breath. All things are connected. The air shares its space with all things are connected, just like a bond which unites us all. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth, befalls the children of the earth.
Treat the earth well. It was not given to you by your ancestors. It was loaned to you by your children. We do not inherit the earth from our parents. We borrow it from our children.
Through hills and
after the last river has been poisoned. Only after the last fish has been caught. Only then will we find money cannot be eaten.
If you will please look on your pew card, or better yet, I don't think it's on the pew card yet. If you'll look on the back of your order of service and join me in reading our covenant. Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
The First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston has been a beacon of inclusive religion since 1914, and the faith of our members continues to grow.
Unitarian Universalists are curious, lifelong learners of all ages, and as we learn, our beliefs change.
We offer several Spanish language services throughout the church year, and all of our Sunday services feature elements in Spanish.
Our spiritual community widens the circle to include all those who covenant with us to agree how we will treat each other and the world. We do not all hold the same religious beliefs. We do not have a creed. Instead, each week in our services, we covenant together.
Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
Our church's newly adopted mission statement makes explicit our intentions going into the next chapter of our story.
Located in Houston's Museum District, the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston commits to being a growing multicultural, multi-generational, and multiracial congregation in the city's diverse urban center.
We widen love's circle by honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all, advancing justice and religious pluralism, and inspiring an ever-deepening spirituality.
In the coming years, we shall serve as a pillared congregation for Houstonians of many faiths and build the beloved community by
providing religious leadership and collective action devoted to ecological, social, and racial justice,
increasing the opportunities for transformative spiritual growth for members and seekers,
serving as responsible stewards through a commitment of our time, talent, and treasure,
and expanding and deepening our intergenerational community.
To help us become that pillar congregation for Houstonians, and to help us build the beloved community, we are asking those who join us on Sundays, either online or in person, to help us widen Love's circle.
Our members and friends have received pledge cards in the mail. We hope you will return those completed pledge cards promptly.
Because our in-person Sunday services are live streamed, people from around the world with internet access watch our services.
If you enjoy our services online, even if you've never been here in person, consider making a pledge. Scan this QR code to make your pledge to support the work of our church. Or you can simply make a financial contribution by texting FIRSTUU to 73256.
The First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston has a proud legacy, and our vision, mission, and covenant ensure an exciting future. Join us in widening Love's circle.
Once upon a time, there was a planet, planet Earth. Earth got sick. There are lots of reasons why. You out there may know some of the reasons. If you can think of a reason, lean over and tell someone sitting next to you. So, anyway, Earth got sick. A person came along and said,
"The Earth is sick. Let's go to Mars."
Mars did not like this idea. Mars said,
"The Earth gave you an atmosphere, air to breathe. She gave you water to drink, lots of plants to eat, and animals to be your friends. But you already ruined one planet. Then you think you're going to come here and ruin me too? I don't think so."
I think we're going to have to come up with some better ideas.
And so they did. Today's service may inspire you to new ideas. New ideas you share with your friends and families and shout across the rivers and oceans and act on in your own life. We hope so.
At this time, I'd like to invite all the children and those who like to play to find some Play-Doh in the middle of your pew, and we have some more at the front if you need. And during the next part of the service, I invite you to listen to see if you hear the name of an animal or plant that you would like to create with your Play-Doh. You may also like to create an animal or plant that is special to you. Later in the service, we will invite you to take your sculpture to the back table so that others can enjoy it as they leave the services today. Can any of you who are sitting with Play-Doh near you look around and make sure anyone who needs it gets some Play-Doh? All right.
Please join with me in the spirit that some call prayer and others name meditation. Open yourself to the wonders and the mysteries of the world. Open yourself to compassion and empathy. Take one breath. Take another. Center yourself. Spirit of life, that some name God and others call the highest in human aspiration, be with us in this hour as we worship together. This week we have seen two holidays, two holy days. Eid al-Fitr, celebrating the end of Ramadan, calling for acts of charity and the breaking of the fast. Earth Day, a secular day meant to inspire a reconnection and a recommitment to that holy thing of which we are a part, on which we are all dependent, this muddy blue-green ball of a planet we call home. Service to each other, service to all being, the ecosystems of which we are a part. We lift up these intentions, these sacred calls to action this spring morning, and ask, O Spirit of life, that you move within us, that you move through us, so that we might each do our parts to do what must be done, works of mercy, the binding up of the broken, the building of collective power to address the climate crisis and bring more justice to our planet. That it might be so, I invite the congregation to say Amen. We pause now to lift up together that which sits heavy and light on our hearts and turn to a practice inspired by African, indigenous, and neo-pagan traditions. We say aloud or bring to mind those who wish to be held in the loving embrace of our religious community. We hear these names and hold them in this great cloud of witness and memory amid this beloved community. Let us extend our empathy to all of the suffering and share all of the joy that sits amid and amongst our community that has not been named. Pause now in awe and wonder of the beauty, mystery, and diversity that is life, and in the spirit of love, spirit of hope, and spirit of compassion, enter into a time of silent meditation, reflection, or prayer. Each week, our morning offering is shared with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist values and through which we may live out our principles in the world. Today, our shared offering will help support the Houston Climate Justice Museum and Cultural Center. The center was created with the belief that museums, both those dedicated to art and those focused on science, too often ignore environmental justice issues and climate change. The founders of the museum realized that many museums perpetuate cultural versions of nature that are tied to upper-class values and dubious racial theories. So the Houston Climate Justice Museum came up with the idea that if we want to tackle the environmental crisis, we have to change the way that museums operate, and that they have to be more experimental, creative, and open-ended. Those in our service will find instructions for text giving in the order of service, and those watching the live stream will see them on your screen. Our regular Sunday morning offering collection invites us to weave a tapestry of love and action. We ask that you give generously. An offering will now gratefully be received.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Please join with me in reading the words to dedicate our offering found on your laminated pew card. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings.
Our responsive reading, which you will find on the insert in your order of service, comes from the current draft of Article 2, Values and Covenants, recently proposed by the Unitarian Universalist Association. We focus on 2 of the 6 shared values we feel are most relevant to today's service: interdependence and transformation. And now, please read with me responsively. I'll take the first part. We cherish Earth and all beings by creating nurturing relationships of care and respect.
With humility and reverence, we acknowledge our place in the great web of life, and we work to repair harm and damaged relationships.
This we covenant. We collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically.
Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages. Never complete and never perfect. We pledge to adapt to the changing world.
This we covenant.
Is When I Dream of a Planet in Recovery by Derek Jensen. In the time after, the buffalo come home. At first only a few, shaking snow off their shoulders as they pass from mountain to plain. Big bulls sweep away snowpack from the soft grass beneath. Big cows attend to and protect their young. The young themselves delight, like the young everywhere, in the newness of everything they see, smell, taste, touch, and feel.
Wolves follow the buffalo, as do mallards, gadwalls, blue-winged teal, northern shovelers, northern pintails, redheads, canvasbacks, and the tundra swans. Prairie dogs come home, bringing with them the rain and bringing with them ferrets, foxes, hawks, eagles, snakes, and badgers. With all of these come meadowlarks and red-winged blackbirds. With all of these come the tall and short grasses. With these come the prairies.
In the time after, the salmon come home, swimming over broken dams to forests who have never forgotten the feeling of millions of fish turning their rivers black and roiling, filling the rivers so full that sunlight does not reach the bottom of even shallow streams. In the time after, the forests remember a feeling they've never forgotten, of embracing these fish that are as much a part of these forests as are the cedars and spruce and bobcats and bears.
In the time after, the beavers come home, bringing with them caddisflies and dragonflies, bringing with them ponds and pools and wetlands, bringing home frogs, newts, and fish. Beavers build and restore, working hard to unmake the damage that was done and to remake forests and rivers and streams and marshes into what they once were, into who they need to be, into who they will be again.
In the time after, plants save the world. In the time after, the oceans are filled with fish, with forests of kelp and communities of coral. In the time after, the air is full with the steamy breath of whales, and the shores are laden with the hard shells and patent, ageless eyes of sea turtles. Seals haul out on sea ice, and polar bears hunt them.
In the time after, buffalo bring back prairies by being buffalo, and prairies bring back buffalo by being prairies. Salmon bring back forests by being salmon, and forests bring back salmon by being forests. Cell by cell, leaf by leaf, limb by limb, prairie and forest and marsh and ocean. They bring the carbon home, burying it in the ground, holding it in their bodies. They do what they have done before and what they will do again.
The time after is a time of magic. Not the magic of parlor tricks, not the magic of smoke and mirrors, distractions that point one's attention away from the real action. No, this magic is the real action. This magic is the embodied intelligence of the world and its members. This magic is the rough skin of sharks, without which they would not swim so fast, so powerfully. This magic is the long tongues of butterflies and the flowers who welcome them. This magic is the brilliance of fruits and berries who grow to be eaten by those who then distribute their seeds along with the nutrients necessary for new growth. This magic is the work of fungi who join trees and mammals and bacteria to create a forest. This magic is the billions of beings in a handful of soil. This magic is the billions of beings who live inside you, who make it possible for you to live.
In the time before, the world was resilient and strong. It happened through the magic of blood flowing through capillaries and the magic of tiny seeds turning into giant redwoods, and the magic of long relationships between rivers and mountains, and the magic of complex dances between all members of natural communities. It took life and death and the gifts of the dead, forfeited to the living to make the world strong.
In the time after, this is understood. In the time after, there is sorrow for those who did not make it. Passenger pigeons, great auks, dodos, striped rock snails, Charles Island tortoises, Stellar's steep crows, Darling Downs hopping mice, Guam flying foxes, Saudi gazelle, sea mink, Caspian tigers, quaggas, laughing owls, St. Helena olives, Cape Verde giant skinks, silver trout, Galapagos amaranths.
But in those humans and non-humans who survive, there is another feeling emerging from below and beyond and around and through the sorrow. In the time after, those still alive begin to feel something almost none have felt before, something that everyone felt long, long ago. What those who come in the time after feel is a sense of realistic optimism, a sense that things will turn out all right, a sense that life, which so desperately wants to continue, will endure and will thrive.
We, living now, in the time before, have choices. We can remember what it is to be animals on this planet and remember and understand what it is to live and die, such that our lives and deaths help make the world stronger. We can live and die, such that we make possible a time after where life flourishes, where buffalo can come home. And the same for salmon and prairie dogs and prairies and forests and carbon and rivers and mountains. And now I invite you to open your teal hymnals to number 1064, Blue Boat Home. When you have found it, please rise in body or in spirit and join together as we sing.
Still my twilight
Some of us gathered here today may be relieved to hear Derek Jensen's description of the time after. Some of us may be focusing on what he said about the possible shifts we can make to keep the world as we know it. Some of us may be feeling great sadness about all we cannot control and all the loss that is happening, the likely suffering of humans and other animals on our beloved planet. I feel all of these things. As an activist for environmental concerns for 8 years, I've gone through many stages and transitions. And where I am right now holds these truths in balance. There is this truth: I cannot control what others do. I have influence, but my influence is limited, mostly to those with whom I have a relationship. Those relationships include deep caring and a sense of belonging together, like we have in this community. When someone in this community invites me to participate in something that fits with my values, I am called to say yes as much as I can. A second truth is that technology alone won't bring us what we need. Technology continues to dig into the Earth's limited resources and doesn't involve a collaboration and relationship between people to create the world that we want to live in. This idea about Mars, moving to a different planet, feels like a crazy, desperate scheme to me. Moving towards sustainability, resilience, along with humility and reverence, are the steps I will make to champion as we go forward. Another truth I want to share is this: I know we've been bamboozled by corporations and people in power to think that saving the planet is the responsibility of individual citizens, rather than the corporations or government. Full-on campaigns have been created to fool us with lots and lots of money behind them. One of our youth brought this up in the discussions to create this service. The writer Derek Jensen, whose essay, When I Dream of a Planet in Recovery, that we just heard, wrote another essay called Forget Shorter Showers, where he argues that an individual citizen's change of habits won't be nearly enough. And it says it's the wrong place to put our efforts. He's not wrong that corporations and leaders and laws would make a much deeper and bigger difference, and we need them. But individual change is important anyway, and here's why I think so. First, we are role models in the places where we have relationships and influence. So when I go to a restaurant and bring my to-go container, others see me, especially those who join me at the table, and they can be changed by the experience. It's amazing that it takes a bit of self-confidence to do something as small as being different by bringing your own container. But seeing someone you trust and admire and love do so makes it much easier to do it. In fact, I got that idea of having one in my car from someone here in this church. Second, when we make a personal change, we are more likely to fully support those particular changes on a larger scale and make choices to make them happen through economic and political change. So for example, if I happen to be vegetarian or vegan, I will be more likely to support the government reducing their subsidies for beef and dairy. Third, and most important, I think, is the way that making moral choices affects us as individuals and affects our community. If I know that my actions create suffering for an animal, or make another person's life harder or less healthy, or create filth and sickness for our planet, I can choose not to do so because that's the choice that is consistent with my values, my morals. Making these choices out of kindness and care makes for a more loving, healthier community of folks. And it feels right to have a life that fits with our values. It is not easy because we are constantly bombarded with messages that cut us off from knowing or thinking about the pain we cause, animals or forests or our fellow humans. But when we find out and stay aware and act accordingly, we can change our corner of the world. I want to end with an idea that blends our very human need for self-care with our connections to our planet Earth. It is a practice of gratitude that focuses on the beauty of nature. In the third verse of Blue Boat Home, I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. So our gratitude can include singing. So it's a practice of gratitude I'm suggesting that focuses on the beauty of nature. I invite you to join me in this next week and weeks and months in creating a daily practice of gratitude about something you love in nature. And if you live by a calendar, I invite you to write it on there. Or you can work it into your morning routine of drinking coffee or the evening routine during dinner with your family. Each day, you can be grateful for trees and the moon and rivers and give a new reason why. This may lead you to get to know the trees in your yard better, or to go out every night to see if the moon is visible and watch how it changes. Or each day you can find a different aspect of nature to offer your thanks. These practices provide self-care and make us feel grounded. They may create a call to bigger activism or shifts in our habits, or they may simply connect us to our true nature as animals whose home, the earth, is where we have been given life. The connection is there. When we feel it, we feel more alive and where we long to be. There is so much to distract us from our true nature. There is so much that has been invented to push us into thinking about buying things and focusing on actions that bring wealth, thinking and actions that have no sacred or spiritual purpose, and that don't deserve our attention. They are hurting our home, the earth. I invite us all to let go of the distractions this week and focus on gratitude and the beauty the earth shows us wherever we pay our attention. May it be so. As we begin the instrumental introduction to our final hymn, all those who created a Play-Doh sculpture are invited to take your creation to the back table and then to return to your pew to join in singing with us.
If you notice in your bulletin, the first couple of lines of the song are missing. So Carol and I will start singing, and then you can join us when the words catch up.
Shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change and life from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time to lead ourselves into the world. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the world. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in
Please join me in reading the words to extinguish our chalice found in the laminated hymnal card. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Here we have the Earth, the third planet from the sun. This is our home. It's our only one. The Earth changes every day, everywhere, all the time. Humans have an influence. We make mistakes sometimes. We use carbon dioxide, but it pollutes the air. It affects our life. Perhaps we should be aware. If there's too much carbon, it would be terrible. It would lead to natural disasters. It would be unbearable. There are more natural disasters because of the heat. It affects the water cycle, which repeats and repeats. The sun is the reason for evaporation. Water becomes clouds, then precipitation. There will be more evaporation now. The air will have more water contained. Once there's plenty of clouds, all that water will turn into rain. If there's too many clouds, there's going to be more thunderstorms. This is the reason why we don't want the globe to warm. There's something that will be even worse. Ice caps at the poles would start to melt. Then all the tides would start to rise. This is why climate change has to be dealt.
Thank you so much for watching our service today. We're glad you're part of our online community, where we welcome people who are diverse in faith, ethnicity, history, as well as gender identity and sexual orientation. There are many different ways you can get involved in our community. One you can do right now is by clicking like below or subscribing to our channel. If you're interested in joining our congregation, please email us at membership@firstuuhouston.org. Thanks so much for joining us.